Hello, this is Mark O'Brien from Scalar, and I'd like to talk to you about the PowerQueries lookup command. The lookup command can be used to retrieve values from a lookup table contained in a configuration file in your Scalar account. The example we're going to use here is to look up host names from IP addresses. This is a great example of matching against a static data set. This data is configured from within the Scalar UI. If instead you were interested in looking up against data that's actually in your log files themselves, you can instead use the join command. And the join command issues a SQL-style join against multiple subqueries that allows you to work with more dynamic data that's actually contained within your log files. So you could use the join command instead, and that's documented in a separate module. We're going to focus here on the lookup command. And again, what I'm going to do is look up host names from a given IP address. To get started here, I want to look up just for IP addresses beginning with 10.0. So I'm going to do a search with the IP field. I'm going to use the matches keyword, which will issue a regular expression search. And I'm going to match on the beginning of the field, and I'm looking for the text 10.0. So when I run this query, I get a set of log lines back with IP addresses that begin with 10.0. I'm going to move from search into PowerQueries. You'll recall that when you build a Power Query, the first part of the Power Query is always a filter. And when I move from the search page into Power Queries, it preserves the filters that I have there. So a great workflow is to start on the search page, use the filters there to narrow down to just the log lines that you're interested in, and then to jump into Power Queries and continue from there. What I'm going to do now is group by IP address, and I'm going to go ahead and create another column here called requests, which contains a count of the number of log lines per IP address. So I've got a handy little table here showing me how many requests I've got for each IP address. But what I'd like to do is use the lookup command to map from IP address to hostname. The data tables are stored under the config files. So I'm going to go here to the config files, which is available under this menu on the right. And when I go into the config files section, you can see all the configuration files here in my demo account. I'm going to go and look at the data tables here. I can create any number of data tables in the data tables directory. In this case, my data table is called host names. And inside here, I've got a JSON statement describing a table with 2 columns. I can have more columns if I wanted, I just have to be consistent. In this case, I've got a set of IP addresses mapped to host names. So to take advantage of this data table, I can use the lookup command. And what I'm going to do is look up from host names. So again, my configuration file is named datatable/hostnames. So I'm referencing the host names data table here. I am looking up the value of the hostname column in my data table. And I'm going to create a new column called host in my output. And I'm going to map it by looking at the IP address column that's in my data table and mapping it against the IP value that's in my original Power Query. So when I run this query, now I get a new column called host. Just as a point of reference here, I could just look up hostname, and then I would be given a column called hostname. But as it is, I wanted to rename the column to host. So there we go. I've now enriched my data. I've got host names that correspond to each IP address. And as a finishing touch here, let's say I just want to put the columns in a different order. So I'm going to go IP, host, and requests. And there you have it. There's a simple example of using the lookup command to map from IP address to hostname. I hope you found that useful.